Oh my God, your poor dad.
All right, welcome to Your Poor Dad. You can't choose your sisters, but you can choose your podcast. So thank you for joining us and being the fourth Brant sister.
Woo! Wow, you
That was
nailed
really
it.
good. Did I nail it?
We just spent like 10 minutes coming up with the tagline. So let us know what you guys think of your new the new tagline.
Oh, yeah, the new tagline.
Oh yeah, the new tagline, y'all.
Maybe we'll do a blooper reel of all of our not so good ones.
Oh no.
Okay.
The table, it's broken.
Wow, what a week.
What a week. Let's just get right into the updates because we have some big news for you guys.
Do we?
We do.
Wow.
You already know it. I don't know why you're acting surprised.
Oh, I'm so excited though.
Okay, well, we regret to inform you it's been 0 days since Jade and Paige's last fight.
Oh, okay. I remember now. I was there.
Okay, I have to admit, I was being a bit of a pain in the ass. Just a bit.
Quite a bit of a pain in the ass. And I also admit that I was,
You overreacted. You reacted loud.
I had a reaction that
It was
I
strong.
felt was strong and appropriate. But at the same time, it's like, I'm not your mother. Because it's like, I feel like I was trying to like teach you a lesson because I was like, oh, she's being selfish and needs to be a better mother.
Right.
And I'm going to let her know
Should we
that.
tell them?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Do you want me?
like, shall I? Or shall I?
I'm scared for you to tell it.
Well,
Okay,
I
I'll just
wanna
set the
say
stage. Okay, what?
That Paige was so upset that she was texting me while I was out of town, and I was like, "Oh no, I got to pay some attention to this. Like, I gotta text her back. Like, this is important."
Yeah. Yeah, so I was at a little pool party and
All day.
I had no intention of staying away from this pool party. But alas, one thing leads to another and I want to stay at the pool party. So I have a dog and his name is Hank. And I can't come back. I walk Hank, but then I realize, I'm going to be staying out. So I call on my sister because who else can really save you in this situation than your sister? And so I say, hey, do you mind, can Hank just stay at your house? And then I'll let you take it from there.
Okay, I love that that's how you remember how this all went down because
Okay.
that's not how it went down.
Okay.
So what had happened was you originally texted me earlier in the day, like around 4:30 or 5,
Right.
asking if I could go let Hank out, right?
Okay.
And so I was explaining that I didn't have a car. It was a process, right? Mm-hmm. So you're like, let me get back to you. Another hour or two goes by and you're telling me that you're going to go let him out.
And I did.
Okay. But then more time goes by and another hour or so. And that's when you ask me if Hank could spend the night.
Right. And that's when all hell broke loose.
And that's when all hell broke loose because it was so, at that point, it was 8 or 9.
Yeah.
And I was just like, how irresponsible. It's 8 or 9 at night and you're just now trying to make arrangements for your son, for Hank, I know. And I knew that we had been texting for hours about who's going to let Hank out, right? That's what pissed me off. That's the thing.
I know. Let's get to the reaction because that's the meat of it. And when Paige is pissed and the texting is coming, I was terrified.
So basically I was like, she was like, can you do this? And I was like, you're not leaving me much of a choice, are you? And she's like, eeks, well, you don't have to. And I was like, well, I actually kind of do have to. I can't believe, you're so selfish. I can't believe that you're doing this.
It was your mom yelling at you.
It was truly your mom yelling at you. And I just needed you to know. I was like, we need to stop I'm going to do this for you, but we need to stop texting because I'm really angry with you.
Yeah. So I got her an Uber to her car.
I
paid her $50 on Venmo.
That was the funniest thing is I get a Venmo for $50 and I'm on my way to my car and I'm like, oh, she feels bad. Then I get my car and I'm on my way to your house and I get a text notification that Jade has sent me a gift on DoorDash. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, like she feels really bad.
And then what did I get you on DoorDash?
You got me Taco Bell.
And what was your order?
2 bean and cheese burritos and some cinnamon twists.
No onions.
No onions.
Yeah.
I was wondering, I was like, what if she purposely like
Put onions
put
on
onions
it.
on it? It's a mistake.
So the person I was with, I was like, do you think I should like also send her Taco Bell? And they were like, yeah, I mean, do you know her order? I was like, do I know her order? It
hasn't changed since she was 5 years old.
She's been eating this since she was 5. 2 bean and cheese burritos, no onions, add cinnamon twists.
Yeah.
But also she gets the quesadilla now.
Sometimes.
Well, I didn't want to push it. But yeah, we recovered
so
the
thank
next
you.
day.
Yeah. The next day you walked in my house when you were picking up Hank.
With my tail between my legs.
And I said that everything was fine and that I was like sorry for my reaction, except it was because the reason I was so annoyed is because our dogs, the last time that they hung out, they didn't get along. And so like one of them grabbed the other one's toy and then there's a brawl.
So
right?
she was stressed.
I was like, am I going to be able to break up a dog fight? Like if this happens, like that was scary. There was no dog fight. Everyone was like very happy. And so I was like, it was fine. He's welcome back anytime. But also next time, ask me earlier.
Yeah, we'll plan a little better next time.
This is
But
great.
thank you.
Learning and growing.
Whew.
We made
My
it.
heart. Hey.
And technically it's been a couple days since.
Yeah.
But
So like we haven't fought since Saturday.
Wow.
yeah, but before that it was like weeks.
I know it was weeks. So we're doing good still.
We're
But
still-
I'll count that as a win.
Yeah,
Because
it
I
was-
kind of deserved the wrath a little bit. Not as high of a wrath as I got, but yeah.
Because again, I'm not your mother.
Right.
Well, it's the quick reaction, but then the quick turnaround. You know,
Yeah.
like it's
That's Paige.
yeah.
That's me.
And then I'll hold on to that forever. I'll never forget it.
Never forget.
But that's the point, because you said like, yeah, you're not really giving me much of a choice. That's the point of like sisters, where it's like I would never ask a friend to do that, but it's like, well, obviously Paige is gonna do it. Like
Yeah.
we're gonna get in a fight and then we're gonna be okay. That's the point.
Yeah.
That's the point.
That's the point.
And everyone survived.
Yeah, we all survived and we had fun.
Yeah.
How was the City of Lights?
The City of Lights did not disappoint. Luckily, I got to dodge the fight between you guys. That was good for the most part.
Yeah.
It was really fun. We went to like the Empire State Building. That was the first thing we did. We went to Emily, which like Dak Shepard talks about a lot because he says the best burger. I think it was the best pizza. The burger was fine.
Okay.
Whatever. My
jealous.
favorite part was going to this like drag show at this like, I guess, famous gay bar there called The Monster. Mm-hmm. I'm really mad because I can't remember the second performer's name, but one of their names was Tiffany and Coke. And her her whole bit was like about doing a bunch of coke. It's very funny.
Wow. We love that Styx is such an ally that he would take you to drag brunch.
It was a little bit funny because we just went to the bar because I had looked it up. And then they're like, oh, we're like doing a drag show downstairs. And he was like, well, like, how interactive is it? Like, I don't know if I really want to like, you know, get in the mix. And they're like, no, we're not going to bother you. Like, just come watch whatever.
Yeah.
And then when we got down there, he's like dancing. He's like the one on the dance floor. And I'm like sitting on the bar. I was like, all right.
Wow.
Pretending to be all shy. But then you're like,
You just have to get him out on the stage. What is that? What was he whipping around?
Was it like, did he take off his shirt and he's just like,
Oh, I
no,
thought
this
she
is
was
just his schlong.
Yeah.
so long he like holds it out here.
It's like it's dragging on the floor. Styx has to whip helicopter his pee-pee around.
Throws it
Pee-pee,
over
don't
his shoulder.
say pee-pee.
I feel like Hank could do that with his
Ew,
big
no, he
pee-pee.
can't.
Stop
Yes,
talking
he
about
can.
him like
Hank
that.
has a hog on him.
Okay, relax.
BDE.
Relax.
He gets it from my side of the family.
Relax.
We don't know his father. Anyways.
Wow.
Wow.
Great. Well, I'm glad you have fun in the City of Lights and you had some good food and some good Styx time.
Great food. Saw a lot of rats.
There's a lot of rats in New York. It's disgusting.
Yeah, I like thought that I'd see some, but they run around like freaking squirrels.
Yeah.
It's like, this is
Uh-uh.
yeah.
Oh, and they're big too, huh?
They're huge.
Yeah. The only time I went out by myself, I like went to the grocery store to buy stuff so I could cook dinner. I walk outside and like right on the sidewalk in front of his thing is just a dead rat. I was like, all right.
at least
That's an
it's
almond.
dead.
I was like, well, this is
Almond?
Omen? An almond.
It's an almond.
That was like such a Paige thing to do.
I know.
The only other update that I have,
Oh.
I got some Botox today. So we're give me another couple days.
And you'll be frozen.
I
like
will be-
Elsa.
I literally said that. I sat down and I said, "Make me frozen." She said, "Okay, I'll be right
All
back."
right, here we go.
I just wanna be frozen.
I love getting it fresh talks.
Me too.
I'm overdue for some.
I actually got Dysport instead of Botox. but-
Well, not to brag, but my
Not to brag.
not to brag, but my best friend does my Botox, and she is the best Botox I've ever had in my life. Rhiannon Presley, Dr. Rhiannon Presley.
Doctor.
Rhiannon Presley.
Wow, what a good friend.
What a great friend to have in your back pocket.
So we talked, not last episode, the episode before, we mentioned that mine and Jade's breakup anniversaries, whatever, they were coming up. So mine did happen. It was on the 16th. Jade's is coming up.
Mine's
you know what
coming
I
up.
mean? And so what a better time than now to talk about breakups.
We like to call this our dump-aversarys.
Yeah. And yeah, you had, well, I guess not really at the same time, but like you had one like around-ish.
But yours
This
was a
time.
couple years before ours.
Your other one was the same
Oh.
time.
Yeah, so just to catch you guys all up, I went through a divorce in
The
20
big D.
the big D, the D card, baby.
Going through the
And
big
that's
D,
actually
don't mean
not the
by
breakup
Alice.
that wrecked me.
Who are you?
Yeah.
It was the breakup after that wrecked me, unfortunately. But yeah, Bailey and I, during my big D card, she went through a breakup. So
A big one.
yeah, a
It
very
was
big
a very
one.
big one.
We all three went through breakups where you had to move out from a place with somebody.
Wait, the same year.
Yeah.
I was 4 months before you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor mom and dad.
I
Like,
know.
Mom was worried.
Yeah.
Bless her heart.
Bless her heart. But yeah, so we are going to be talking about our anniversary. I don't know why I can't talk.
almond.
Almond.
Just a little almond.
We're going to be talking about our most recent breakups. So after I got divorced, I got into this relationship that was very off and on. Very off and
Very
on.
touch and go.
Touch and go. Talk about like touch and go. It was like 0 to 60 all the time.
Yep.
And it all came to a head last year. And then do you want to catch them up on your...
Yeah, so the breakup I'll be talking about is a relationship where I had known this person in college, never like dated, but I always like wanted to. I had a huge crush on him. So 5 or 6 years later, we kind of always kept in touch just through like a DM or something, like, oh, happy birthday. That's it. 5 or 6 years later, he's like, hey, I'm in Austin. You want to grab a drink? Yes. Sparks fly.
Yeah.
And that was how it started, you know?
Taylor Swift style.
So I was obviously so excited. I'm like, what a love story. This has been like 6 years in the making. And my soulmate we're finally together. That did not last.
it's only funny because it's like...
It's only funny because
It did last.
This is in the context of a breakup story.
Yeah.
because we broke up.
Yeah. And then I have a very similar story because I knew my ex from college as well. Similarly, I can't talk today.
I'm scared for you.
I'm having a stroke. Reliving all this trauma. So then I knew my ex in college and I like had the biggest crush on him and I like wanted to date him, blah, blah, blah. We reconnected years and years later. And so I was like, oh my gosh, we are soulmates. We are literally meant to be. How cute is this story? And then I said we were off and on, but then the last like 6 months were very much on together, committed. We were talking about getting married. I was planning to move to where he was.
Well,
And then
You did.
I did.
For a second.
For a very brief. If,
like,
if
a
you look
literal
at
minute.
if you look at the span of my life and where I've lived, like you couldn't even see my time in Colorado. It's just like
It was truly, honestly, like, it was sad. Like,
okay, so let's go back to May. Like we're like, I'm gearing up. I'm like so happy because I'm finally moving to Colorado. My ex was gone for a while, so like there was a date I knew he was coming back. So like May was like, all right, we're gearing up, and then I get a call from Paige or get a text from Paige, and it says, so and so just dumped me in a Chewy's.
Okay, wait.
And I was like,
Are we nicknames?
should we make nicknames?
Yeah.
So for the purposes of this conversation, we're changing their names. Paige's ex will be known as Peter.
Peter.
Peter. And my ex will be known as Indiana.
Indiana.
Big indie.
All right. So wait, Paige. So for those of you who are not watching on Spotify or YouTube, Paige has a journal. And Paige is
I feel a lot.
she feels all the feelings. And you'll see how differently we dealt with our breakup. So can you take us back to...
Well, I wanted to find something. I don't know how much I want to, but this paragraph, like, I'll read it to you guys. The next day, you held my hand the whole drive home, and when we got to Austin, I said thank you for making me feel so loved. I know. Oh no, because you really did. I can honestly say that I've never been happier in a relationship. But the next day, my world changed. You broke up with me at Chewy's right when our food came, and I couldn't have been more caught off guard. Okay, I'm crying. Oh my God. Why are you crying? Thank you for making me feel so loved. It's only funny because it's so true. I liked him so much. I'm sorry. Why are you crying?
Oh my God.
Are you gonna be okay? Okay, so okay. Anyways, so
Sorry.
the whole reason for this notebook is so this breakup was like my healthy breakup, right? So my big breakup. Are you guys okay? I need tissues.
My healthy breakup.
Okay, I'm sweating. First of all, now you're like making me embarrassed. Oh no, I'm sorry.
Good.
I'm sorry.
Okay, but it's true. This was like my healthy breakup because the breakup that I had before this one, well, the one that I count because I did have a breakup in between that I did, and I forgot about that. That one didn't like mean as much to me.
Stop. I'm gonna cry. I forgot you had that person in between.
Like for a long time
And
too.
then a long time, way too long.
Okay, but it was a quarantine boyfriend, and that was weird. It's so weird how you can like get along with someone well enough when all you're doing is like making dinner and watching movies, and then you go out in the world one time and you're like, holy moly, we don't get along like this. Anyways, that's not the one I'm talking about. The one before that was like my big breakup, and you know, I'll be honest, I just like went a little crazy in that breakup, which I was like, I should probably go to therapy to get over this breakup. And that therapist, I was with him for a very long time. And he is the one that gave me these tools for this healthy breakup. I was still seeing him like when the breakup happened. I literally started with, well, I guess I don't name my therapist, but we're talking, like the very first paragraph of this journal is me explaining that I had my therapy session, and he suggests me writing letters to Peter because at that time when you just break up with somebody, like, that's not the time that that person is really going to, like, listen to you and give you the answers that, like, you need for yourself. But you have a lot of feelings. You have a lot of things that you want to say.
Yeah.
And so write a letter to that person that you may or may not give to them in the future.
Yeah.
That was how this started. So every letter starts Peter, and then every letter ends Paige.
Love always, Paige.
Love you forever and ever and ever. Paige. The other thing that's really fun about this journal is in between the letters, I have little, I don't know if they're lyrics or like poems, but whenever I just like think of something that I need to have a creative outlet or something, I just...
Are you going to read one?
Okay. Should I read the 3-month poem?
No. That one was good.
Okay. Here we go. This is my cursive one.
Tell them about that.
So some days... One day I was like, I wonder if I could write a whole letter in cursive.
And you did. You did it.
And you did it, Paige.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
3 months. So what are we in, August?
So August 18th. We broke up May 16th. So literally 3 months. Okay. Gosh, this is maybe the loseriest thing I've ever done, but here we go. 3 months. 3 months since you said I love you, since you gave me the world and every part of you. 3 months since I was yours, since you made me walk away through those restaurant doors. I forgot I said that. I'm crying.
And you didn't say those Chewy's stories.
I wanted to make it more relatable for everybody. Okay. Whew. Okay. That really got me. 3 months since our last kiss goodbye. Since you made me question if it was all a lie. 3 months since you broke my heart. Since you decided that you'd rather be apart. 3 months since nothing else was the same. Since it didn't hurt at all to see the shape of your name.
Boom.
Boom. Man, that restaurant doors part really killed me.
That one was really good.
Anyways, so this journal really helped me. I'll read like a couple other things just because I think they were really helpful. But I think because we've gotten a lot of people writing in saying that they want to have an episode on like how to get over a breakup,
yeah,
or just to talk about breakups in general. And like honestly, I highly suggest keeping a journal, like writing things out, because like this journal, it started, I 100% thought we were getting back together. Like I really thought that this was going to be something where it's like, I'm writing these letters. One day I'm going to be able to actually like either give him the letters, or if not, like I have all of my feelings written down that we could have like this conversation. We're going to get back together. Everything's going to be fine. And then throughout the journal, like towards the end, I'm like, I guess this journal's just for me now. Like, I'm not like, this is no longer intended for you, because now I know that we are not getting back together. Like that was the realization that like, it's not happening.
Yeah.
And I just think that like, even 3 months into it, I'm still devastated.
Yeah.
And even I kept writing until November.
Yeah.
I think it's really nice that you had that realization though of like, this was for me. Like I wasn't trying to like get through this so we could be together. It was like, you had to do that for you, definitely not for him. Definitely not for Peter.
Definitely not for Peter. And I even like say something like that, like I made the realization that like he was the one that was lost. Like he was the one that was like struggling, because sometimes I feel like in like a not regular, like hetero like relationship, a lot of the times, like, the men want to make the women feel, like, kind of crazy. Like, especially in a breakup, it's like...
Oh, yeah.
Because typically, like, the women have, like, more questions or more...
Well, the men are the leaders and whatever, and it's, like, not the case. Men never know what they're doing.
I think both of our situations, they were lost.
They were what?
Lost.
Lost. I thought you said last, and I was like, last in what?
And being our boyfriend.
Truly. Okay, but something, since this is... What?
Oh, wait, go ahead.
I was going to say, I wrote something out that my dad said, and I feel like that would be good advice for anybody who is going through a breakup. My second entry, I decided to go home to visit mom and dad because I was really sad. And also something that's, like, so real. I said that as I drove further away from Austin, my heart continued to break. My anxiety was through the roof. The further away I got, the further away I was from you. And I panicked thinking, what if he decides he wants to meet up and talk and I'm not there? And that's, like, such a real,
100%. That was how I felt.
You're like,
so...
He's going to call any second now.
I think of you. Have you seen that SpongeBob where he's like... he's like, okay, goodbye.
Oh, yeah. Like, I literally was like, I could not, like, have left the state of Colorado slower. Because I was like, he's going to change his mind.
He's going to be like, hey, just kidding.
Yeah. So, well, also, I'd like to preface, like, when we give this breakup advice, it's not just like, oh, we just, like... It was like a normal relationship. No, this was like relationships where it was like, we are so devastated and heartbroken. Like, we said it today on the phone. Like, we are content knowing that, like, we will never be as happy as we are right now. Moving on. Like,
I truly,
like, because
I thought
like
I would get engaged.
I thought like I would never be as happy as I was with this person or feel as connected as I was with this person. So I was like, oh, I'm just going to have to be content having that at least once in my life. And then moving forward, I will never be as happy with anyone else.
Yeah. Like, at least I was lucky enough to experience like this strong of a connection and a love for the short amount of time that I was able to.
Right. And that's exactly how I felt. And I was like, I will never be happy again. Like, I will
never be as happy. Like, I can find...
Oh, yeah, I'll be happy, but I will never be happy with somebody else. And I'm here to say it's so wrong. Like, you can heal. But we'll get into, like, more of the healing journey. Should I give my... Or do you want to say what Dad said first?
It's up to you.
Say what Dad said first.
I was going to say,
Okay.
dude...
So, Dad said... Whenever I went home, outside hanging out with Dad, he says, I know how much Peter I know how much Peter meant to you and how much you loved him. I'm so sorry you're hurting, but please don't let this scare you from opening up again to someone else. When you love with your whole heart, and it's an incredible thing. It can hurt when it doesn't work out, but one day someone will be so happy to be loved by you and love you just as hard.
That is so sweet.
That was really sweet. And, like, that's truly, like, the kind of advice that I personally need, because opening myself up to somebody and, like, letting myself care for somebody in such a deep way, and then for them to basically reject me.
Yeah.
Right? I usually want to be like, okay, fuck the world. Like, I am now going to put up all my shields and, like, I'm gonna protect myself and not, like, fuck you guys, you know what I mean? Like, that's how I am. And so it's like a nice reminder where it's like, it's good to open up and love as much as you do, even though sometimes you're gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
But when it's the time that it's gonna work, like, it's gonna be so worth it and so satisfying.
Yeah.
So that was really good advice from Dad.
And that's the thing with dating. Like, it's going to hurt. Like, it's just, and that's like me getting back into it. Cause okay, like, it took me a really long time to get over my ex. Like, I was very emotionally attached to him.
It took you a really long time to accept that you guys broke up.
Oh, no, it wasn't a breakup.
Okay, so...
Oh, no.
Just to give you, okay, so let's go to my timeline. So we were at May 16th. I was like, Paige, I talked to
sucks
Paige.
for
I'm like,
you.
oh, oh, that sucks. Well,
I've never been happier.
I'm
Bye.
literally getting married in like a few months. So
Please don't bring me down.
please don't ruin this time for me. And then I'm like, packing up the car. I'm like bringing out like most of my clothes, like pretty much like.
Because you're moving there.
I'm literally moving there. Everything but the furniture pretty much. Yeah, so I pack up the car. I drive to Colorado on Friday, May 28th. I'll never forget it. I'm listening to Wide Open Spaces by Dixie Chicks. I'm just like, by the Chicks. I'm like just ready for a brand new start. Like finally gonna see my boyfriend after all these months.
You're like, who doesn't know what I'm talking about?
Who doesn't know? And then I also remember. And then I'm listening to, this is called foreshadowing, kids. I'm listening to Good For You by Olivia Rodrigo. And I'm like, oh my God, I wish I was going through a breakup so I could really enjoy this Olivia Rodrigo album. LOL.
Be careful what you wish for.
I have something to say about that.
Well, you were like hardcore singing Good For You when you got home.
Well, and another thing besides writing that I started doing, I started like going on jogs every day. Because since I live with Bailey, I wanted to like leave the house and be able to like cry in peace like when I'm jogging outside. And then like a couple weeks in, I was like, you know what I should do? I like needed to find a way to like post a running like video on my Instagram with the song Good For You, you know what I mean? And I was like, I did that.
You did it?
I think I did that.
You did do it.
Loser.
Yeah,
No.
that's okay.
Heck no.
So yeah, when I get there, things are off. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he just went through like a very intense situation. Like, okay, we'll work through this together.
Because we're getting married. Because that's
we're-
what marriage is, what
We're
married
getting
people
married.
do.
We literally just like planned our life out together. And he is obsessed with me. And we've had this like very tumultuous relationship up until the 6 months. So it felt like finally like, we're like together.
Yeah.
And
now we're finally living together.
Look at our house. It's so cute.
We're so cute.
We're so cute.
We're
And then
so happy.
Yeah. So then I think didn't take long for that to not be happy because I think around Tuesday he was like, and I got there Friday. And I don't think he wanted to talk about it because it was Memorial Day weekend. So I was like, are you not excited that I'm here? And it was like, he was so relieved I brought it up. He was like, yeah, I don't really know what's going on. And I was like,
Oh no.
You're like, actually, what happened is I just moved here. What do you mean you don't know?
oh, let me remind you what's going on. You and I are together
And you asked me to move in.
you asked me to move in here.
And so I packed my car
So my car's in your garage.
with all of my
because-
things.
Yeah. And my things are in the guest room because we're trying to find space for it in your house. So that was
Because I live here.
because I live here. And so after that, it was so Wednesday, he said he booked a flight home. Fuck. It's all happened very quickly.
It sounds fake.
It sounds fake. No, it literally sounds fake. And people are like, oh, it must have been just like this like very fake relationship. I don't think a lot of people took my breakup seriously because of it, but like it was so intense behind the scenes, but like no one was ever around us because we were so long distance for so long.
Mm-hmm. I'm saying the part that sounds fake is that it's like you got there on a Friday and you're like, he's booking a flight on Wednesday.
I gotta get outta here.
No, that
Yeah, and
sounds
so-
like a movie.
Oh yeah, so like Wednesday he booked the flight for Friday, and I'm like, okay, and he's like, I just need space, and I'm like, what am I gonna tell people that like my job, like everyone else that knows what's going on? And he was like, just say like, I needed space. Like I don't want to say he gaslit me, but he kind of did. He was like, what? You just like drove out here to visit me, and I was like, you forgot that you asked me to move in with you, but like
Yeah, that's awkward.
it was like a temporary like move in, like temporary, and then once we figure out it's working, then we'll send for the furniture. But it still was like a drive out there with all your shit.
I remember you talking to me and you're like, well, how many clothes should I take? Like probably enough for like a couple months, right?
Yeah, because
And
it was supposed to be like a few months or a couple months, and then we do like the full thing.
Yeah.
So where am I now? Oh yeah, so Wednesday. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, and I felt the same thing. I'm like, I feel anxious leaving this place because it was so quick and it was so like such a
He's
rash.
probably definitely gonna like wake up tomorrow.
Yeah.
And like change his mind.
Yeah. So, and then we also, it was like not a breakup. Like he kept saying like, well, and that's what he kept saying. Like, I just need a little time to like get used to being back. And I was like, okay, like this is not a breakup. This is not a breakup. Why would you break up with me?
Yeah.
Like what am I doing? I'm doing nothing.
I literally just did what we talked about.
Yeah.
Moving in.
And I remember like one of my coworkers she's like a very like maternal figure to me. She called me. She's like, how's it going? And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And she's like, do I need to come get you? And I'm like, I think I need to leave.
I think I'm no longer welcome.
This house. And so I call one of my like close friends, Annie. She's like one of my best friends. And I'm like, I'm being kicked out of my place that I'm staying at in Colorado. So can I come stay with you? And she's like, oh my gosh, yes, please. So Friday we leave. It's like, hey, like, oh my gosh, love you so much. Have a great time where you're going. I'll have a great time where I'm going. I'll call you tomorrow. Like, it was like so normal. It was just like we're going on a trip. But I'm like, I feel as though this might be the last time we ever see each other again. And it was.
Yeah.
So I'd go up to Annie's house and like Annie and I are like sitting there scheming. And I'm like, you know what? He said he just needs space. And I think like, and she's like, do you want to live here? And I was like, that's what I was thinking. So Annie's like, we can turn this room, my gym room, into your room. You can just stay here and you can just go back and forth. And I'm like, that's an amazing idea. And so I call mom and I'm like, I'm going to move into Annie's house. Like, I literally thought I was going to move into Annie's house. That's how like scared I was to leave because I wanted to like make it work.
Yeah, you wanted this relationship
bad.
to work.
And mom was like, are you fucking kidding? Get your ass home. Do not be that girl. And I was like, you don't understand this.
No, but like I'm gonna live in her house.
Yeah, but I'm not living. She's like, he just told you he needs space and he doesn't want to live with you. I think you need to come home. And I was like, okay. And then I remember I had this like breakdown on the next Tuesday. So like I'm only in Colorado for like a total of 10 days. Like it was a blip. It was like a short little vacation. And I remember
Not even a vacation. You're stressed the whole time.
Oh my God, I was so stressed. And then I was like, I told my boss, I was like, I need to come back to Texas. She's like, I think you need to take tomorrow off and just like drive and like get out of there. And I was like, yeah. So then I remember like driving back down. But the sad part was I had to go back through the town that he lived in. So then I was just like, okay, like
he might
1 hour till I'm through that town.
Oh, I think I dropped something.
And I was like, should I call him? Should I call him? Should I call him? I didn't. But then I had like the biggest pit in my stomach driving through the town. I was like, oh my God, that's it. That's it. I'll never see him again.
Yeah.
And I got like a sub sandwich like a little bit farther down. And I just remember listening to Landslide by fucking Fleetwood Mac, bawling, eating this sub sandwich, like looking at the beautiful mountains of Colorado, entering into fucking New Mexico. And I was just like, how did I get here? How did this happen?
10 days ago, I was the most excited I've ever been in my life.
Literally. Like I was with like my dream person and I was just like, oh my God. But that's not where it ends with us because this fucker likes to draw things. This is why I said I wasn't dumped. Like he made me dump him.
But we know why.
Why?
Because he wasn't like man enough to be like, oh, this is what's happening.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna call him the P word.
So I like today I was going through the timeline and it was all very quick. So like I got back June 9th and then we went to Billy Bob's June 10th. And then he's like calling me, doing like the whole like he kept like calling me to get like a boost of like confidence and serotonin because I'd be like, yeah, you've got this, like we are gonna get through this together. And I think he like used me as therapy because he wouldn't go to therapy. So then finally June 14th I'm in California for work and I'm like, where am I? And he literally sends me this text. And it was, I don't know how much I want to get into, but there was another person came into play.
Oh, yeah.
That he brought in. And I was like, okay, that is the boundary I needed. Like, that is like the thing that you no longer can, like, I can't feel sorry for you anymore with that. Like, and it's almost good that he did do that because I kept feeling so sorry for him. I'm like, yeah, like, we've got this, like, we can do this together. Like, I will wait for you to get better. And then once he brought that other person in, I was like, nope, we are done. And then I had to say, don't ever contact me unless you are like, fuck yeah, Jade Brandt is my girl. Which took, yeah. Yeah, but I felt the same way. I was like, I am just waiting for this person to come back.
So at what point in all of this did you write your breakup guide?
You were like, I am crushing this breakup.
No, my breakup guide was based off of my divorce. And I wrote it for myself for this breakup. But I didn't follow it.
Huh.
Yeah. And we'll get into the breakup guide for sure. Because I think the breakup guide is solid.
If
I
you
agree.
listen to it.
Yeah, if you listen to it. I didn't listen to it. No, I'm trying to think. Oh, yeah. Like, he didn't contact me. But I did think that he was going to contact me. But then he did contact me on the day after Thanksgiving.
And he said something like, did you eat some turkey, a turkey?
No, he said, what's it like to be a fucking turkey on turkey day, you fucking turkey?
The weirdest thing.
Yeah. After, like, not talking for however many months from, like, June to November, I'm like, I told you, like, if you are coming back, you have to, like, be, you know, a big boy about it. And he wasn't. So he tried to, like, dabble into my life back and forth. And I was excited. I was like, oh my God, like, we're getting back together. But he never changed. Like, he literally was still the same person. I was like, oh, this is why we will never be together. And then one day in March, I remember I woke up and I was like, I'm over him. Like, it was the best feeling I've ever felt. Like, I literally feel no feelings for him at all.
Thank God.
I forgot that you existed.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
I think that something that I really liked reading back on is like these beginning entries for me. It was like, I have all these things I want to say. I have all these things I want to say. I have all these questions for him. Like, why? Like, was it this? Was it this? Like, all these things, right? And then after like a couple, I think it was like 2 months into the breakup, my therapist was like, you know what? Like, there's been enough time. Like, you should ask for that one more conversation, like to actually say all those things.
Yeah.
And so I reached out to him and I was like, hey, would you be willing to meet up for a conversation? Like, I just have some lingering questions that I would like you to answer, whatever, just for me, closure, whatever. And he says yes. And then the next fucking journal entry I have is, we were supposed to meet up on Wednesday and you never texted me back. And then a month later, he calls me and brings up did you still want to meet up? Sorry that I didn't like text you like a month ago when I was supposed to. Like, do you still want to meet up? And I was like, I'm good.
There's nothing you can give me that I need now.
And he
I
was
need
like,
nothing from you.
He was like, because at that time, again, so I am healing myself, you know, like answering my own questions with this journal, because it's like, that is truly like the only thing that you can do. Like, you have to, it sounds so stupid, but like, you cannot change anybody else. Like, you have to heal yourself and make like the changes or improvements or whatever you want to yourself to make you feel better. So it's like,
100%.
I'm writing my emotions out on paper. I'm running outside because that makes me like, just getting outside and doing something active just automatically makes you feel better. It's like, I'm doing these things to help me. And then it's like, starting with time, you're slowly every day getting a little better, even though you don't think that you are. And then so
until one day you're outside running
and he calls. But that was the best thing ever, because I answer and I'm like he's like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm just working out. Like, because I just work out every day now, you know? And he's like, oh, like, that's so good. Like, I hope you're not doing that because you're like mad at somebody. And I was like, no, it just feels great for me. And he's like, oh yeah, that's great. Did you still want to get together? And I was like, no, like, I'm good. Like, I don't have any questions anymore. Like, there's nothing else that you need to answer. And he's like, oh, okay, well, good to hear from you. Like, see you later, you know? And I'm like, okay, bye. And I'm like, I hang up the phone. I sprint back home. And I'm like, guess who just called me? Peter. I'm like, it's Peter. And I'm like, I just like basically like, I feel like the inside of my body just like collapses. And I'm like, why?
Yeah, like why? It's so crazy because they don't know. I mean, they must know how much power they hold.
But I didn't want him to know that. Yeah. And like, so that was like the 3 month mark. No, the 2 month mark because, and my poem, 3 months, like that was a month later. Like I still had these strong feelings, but like, I don't need you to like save me from this feeling. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm good.
That's like the number one thing that I took away, like, was because there were so many things that I was like planning for the future with this person. My stuff was like always like the future. So it was like giving up that like just facade of what could have been. But like I had to like completely rewire all of my goals, work on myself, which is the hardest thing. And I just wanted to be like the best version of myself because I truly thought I was going to be alone forever. And I'm like, I need to be the best version of myself so I could provide like a really fucking badass life for myself. And I don't think I'm going to be alone forever anymore. So that's nice. But you're right. You do have to like work on yourself, like heal from within.
Yeah.
And also time literally, like it sucks because it takes time.
It takes time.
Very wise.
But it's like going back and like reading these little entries. It's like I did get sad because like I forgot how sad this girl was. Like she was devastated. Like she was heartbroken. Because this girl and this girl, like, we are so different now. Yeah. Like, everything, I thought that I was never going to, I thought my soulmate walked out of my life. Like, I truly thought I was never, ever, ever going to get over that.
Yeah.
But isn't it nice to know that, like, you can go there so hard and you can bounce back? Like, you contain multitudes.
You contain multitudes.
I'm amazing.
You're amazing. Like it can be that like big and then like it doesn't take as much space in your life anymore.
Yeah. So guys,
you can get over it.
You can get through it.
All right. Should we pop into this breakup guide?
Yes, but one thing I'd like to just mention first is that I too journaled during my breakup journey, but my breakup journal was so different because mine was like the land of delusion. It was like as if, so I wrote to him as well as myself and as myself, not who else would I be?
Under a pen name.
And I was writing as if every day he was asking for me back. So I was telling him why I couldn't be with him every single day.
Okay, that's really good though. So you remember this is
in my mind. I literally was like, I know he, and I wrote it down too. I said, I know he misses me.
I have to practice this response.
He doesn't know how to love me, and I still to this day kind of believe. I'm like, no, he's different. You guys don't understand.
I believe that.
I'm like, but I live very peacefully in this land of delusion.
It's not hurting anyone.
I don't know if it's confidence or delusion or like what it is, but I truly believe both. Like, I think it's a little bit of both. And I think Bailey said it best once, you can't have confidence without delusion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that's very true.
Yeah. So let's get into my breakup guide I wrote that I did not follow.
The first one for Jade's breakup guide. Day by day. Don't think about how you're going to get over it in the future. You have to trust that you will and accept the feelings you're feeling now.
I think that's
Great.
excellent advice.
Excellent.
I do too. Yeah. Take it day by day.
And then also, you will have good days sprinkled in.
Yeah.
And I was really grateful. And I always wrote in my journal, and I typed it on my phone, but I always wrote, like, I am so grateful to be happy today.
Well, and I think the other thing that happens is, like, you have those good days sprinkled in, and you're like, oh, I'm getting better. And then, like, the next day, you're just bawling, wearing his T-shirt, laying on the floor, just like, yesterday was so good. Like, how did I relapse?
I cried about him in March because he texted me and he like didn't follow through with something he said he was going to do. And I cried about it. And I was like, why am I still crying over this person? So it's like cyclical, or it's not cyclical. What is it? Squiggly. It's all over the place.
It's squiggly, but there's also like diminishing returns too. Like it's not going to be as bad as it
Each
was
time,
like
yeah.
super fresh.
I like that. Good job.
Diminishing returns.
Diminishing returns.
It's like that one away. And
Finance term.
I'm
Okay.
really good at finances.
Number 2, limit alcohol. I'm admittedly a drinker, but when I'm sad, I try not to drink, especially when I'm alone. Alcohol is a depressant, so it will only make you sadder and it will make you fatter, which will ultimately make you sadder.
It will.
It's very wise.
Yeah.
That is true. I think that, I think that it's easy to lean on alcohol, which, like, it's not that I was limiting myself from the alcohol per se, but it's like, if I'm going to have a glass of wine or, like, have a beer or something that's, like, I have to go for a jog. Like, I have to, for me, it was, like, I had to do something to, like, I had to give myself some, like, uppers if I'm
mine
which
was more
isn't,
like
the right thing, probably.
Mine was like, am I drinking because I'm sad? Am I drinking because I want to like
Not
just
feel as much.
So
Yeah.
like if I was drinking like that, I wouldn't drink because like I really wanted myself to feel every single emotion during this so I could fully heal.
Well, and that's a good like check-in with yourself to be like, well, am I not able not to drink right now? And like, let's dive into that later. You know? It's a good check-in.
Yeah.
Good reminder.
Okay. Routine. I made a very healthy routine for myself that I would stick to every single day. It made me happy that I could hold myself accountable and not sit on my ass like a lazy slob, which would always lower my self-esteem. I ate healthy, worked out, made a nighttime drink of tea or ACV, then went to bed at a normal time. Then on weekends, I made myself get out of the house.
Yeah.
I love the way you talk to yourself.
I know.
You were drinking the apple cider vinegar
Every
a
single
lot.
day.
That was so
But it's like
gross.
that, the routine, looking forward to something being the same every single day and like knowing you have to do it or else you're going to feel like shit. That is so key for me.
Me too. I like the routine.
I was a little bit down talking of like, you got to get off your ass and stop being such a lazy freaking slob.
Yeah, because I
That's like
would be a
little-
lazy slob if I didn't.
It's a little negative.
Okay, well,
Give
that
yourself
works for
some
me.
grace.
Okay. Exercise. I used to be that bitch who hated working out, but I strongly encourage you to find a class that you like so you can go and turn your mind off, get healthy endorphins, and keep busy.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing.
That's the key. That's why I would go on the jogs. Like, one, I wanted to like cry in peace, but two, it's like give me that like healthy, like the endorphins that I need.
I would go to these workout classes and I was like so in my bubble and so shy that I would like, my goal would be to just like say hi to one person each class.
Yeah.
And then once I like said hi before, then I could like turn my mind off and just like listen to the instructor and just get lost in the workout. Because once you're in the workout, like everyone else is just focused on themselves. But like if you want to get into exercise but you don't know where to start, I would definitely invest in a group fitness class and just go to the same gym every single day.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like a bit of a financial commitment, but the reward is amazing. And you can cut out like little things to make up for that
Like
expense.
the alcohol.
Like the alcohol. Literally, if you cut out alcohol and like buying wine, like that's your freaking gym membership
Yeah.
right there.
Okay, next, stay busy. Make plans and say yes to shit that you don't want to. I would say yes to things I normally wouldn't want to do because it got me out of the house and kept me busy, so I wasn't over analyzing things. That is key. Like, it's so easy to hide under the covers and like
100%.
Stay on the couch or like stay in your bed and turn off the lights, watch a movie. Like, it's so easy to do that, but that's like that's the time where it's like, now I'm in my own head and I'm like in my own space where I can like think anything that I want, and like, it's bad.
Yeah.
Trigger.
And
It's bad.
I would do things like, my friends would invite me places I knew I was going to hate or like I wasn't going to enjoy. And I just reframed the way I looked at it. And I was like, I'm just happy that people are inviting me places and I could like not be alone. And then I also just like, it expands your horizons. And like, I would go on like hikes and stuff. And I was like, this is actually not as bad as
I actually kind of like
Oh,
this.
nature's nice. Oh my God, flowers.
Oh, nature.
Yeah.
Okay, friends. I cannot stress enough the importance of good girlfriends. Don't expect each friend to give you the same thing that you need. You'll have the friend you can complain to, the friend you can grab a drink with, the friend who will drag you to every workout, the friend that gives you the hard truth, etc. I always suggest to not beat them down by over talking the situation and give that to a therapist. That is true. It's like, it's really good to have different friends for different needs.
Yeah.
The other thing that I will say, like, instead of the not talking thing, like, something that my friends were really, really good at is like, two of my best friends, like, we have a group chat that we talk in every single day. And during that breakup specifically, like, I would send them a text that was like, I don't need you to respond to this text message, but like, if I'm not texting you guys right now, then I would be texting him, right?
Yeah.
Like, I would be texting Peter. I don't want to text Peter, right? So I would text them all of my thoughts, all of my feelings, like, just, and so I mean, it's probably hard for them because like they heard so much of my devastation,
And they
you know?
can't say anything to make it better.
They can't say anything to make it better. And I also liked that they didn't try. And then it would be like the next day, it would be like, how are you feeling today, Paige? Like,
Yeah.
are you feeling better? And it's like, that's what I needed. It's like, we don't need to go back, dive into every like text that I sent you guys last night and like the details, but it's like the checking in, like, are you feeling better today? And it's like, no, are you fucking kidding me? Or like, yeah, actually I am. Like, thanks for letting me like vent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that was really important to me, just like having the friends that knew that I needed to like them to be my sounding board, but like I don't need you to like do anything.
Yeah. Well, and I also think that sometimes as women, like, we expect our friends to be everything because like we are also putting that on ourselves. So like why I said that one thing about don't expect everyone to be everything for you is like you can't expect somebody else to fulfill that like void that you're feeling.
You have to
fill that yourself. And then also they're a friend. They're not like they're there to help you as much as they can, but like you can't rely on them like 100%,
for
like
all
a
of your
therapist.
needs. Yeah.
So it's like I had like different friends where I'm like, can I count on you to be like my workout buddy? Can I count on you to like at least be like my happy hour friend or like my like dinner friend or my lunch friend when I need it? Like, and then I just had like those people that like I tried to like book myself like 5 nights busy a week instead of like, you know, no nights busy, because that's when you're like start getting sad.
You're like, I'm just gonna be alone forever. I'm just gonna be alone and then no one's gonna love me. Okay, do not text them. You'll want to. Oh, and he probably deserves it. But you have to keep that shit in your head or put it in your notes on your phone and let it out that way. That is true.
Yeah, I don't agree with keeping it in your head. I think you should just get it out onto your notes. But do not text him. One thing I think I'm really good at is not texting them. Like the silence is like my strength. But there is literally no point in making contact after there's a breakup because you're not going to get anything you want from it. And then I even had like in my note to myself or like my journal back and forth to myself, I'm like, I do want to talk to him so bad that that's all I want to do right now. But like, even if I get the answer I want, like, oh, I miss you so much. Like, I know I shouldn't be with you. And that like just hurts. And then if I don't get the answer I want, that's going to hurt even more. It's a lose-lose situation.
Or even if you're like, I'm going to make him feel as bad as I feel right now. I saw this thing and I know this is going to devastate him. Then you're just going to also feel bad later for even doing, like, there's nothing good to come from it.
Yeah. Well, and it's like with my unhealthy breakup, like the night that I like lost my mind, like I texted him like, I know you're out with this girl, right? And in the beginning, he was responding to my text messages and not giving me the response that I wanted. And I don't even think I knew what I wanted, right? Yeah. Like, but getting a response from him like fueled the fire. And then I just kept going and going. And then he eventually stopped responding because I'm literally blowing him up. Yeah. And then when he stopped responding, that fueled it even more because like, I know you're getting my messages because you were, you know what I mean? It's just like the texting like does something to some people. I definitely was one of those people like that just like amplifies all of your emotions. And then eventually you start seeing red and then it's like, oh, shit.
And I think like 9 times out of 10, when you are like in a contentious relationship with somebody where it's like you're going through a breakup or it's not good, texting is only going to make it worse. It never makes it better because like there's so much like nuance in texting and like it does not help. So just think of us in your mind. If you go to text him, just think, oh my God, I'm the 4th Brant sister. Like, what are they going to say?
If you want to text
us a DM,
send us a DM and we'll respond. And like, send us your notes app.
Yeah, truly, like, it does not matter how many times you're messaging us. You could be like me, like I did to my friends. It was just like text after text, like, because I need DM us or email us. Do not reach out to the ex.
Yeah. Never. And then also we'll rate your text on like, because we have some crazies in the bunch and like, we'll be like, that was a fucking good text. Like, yeah. But thank God you didn't send it.
Okay. Be of service. This one I learned from my ex. Get out of your head and be of service to someone else. Help someone and expect nothing in return. That's good. Great. I like. Yeah. Last one. Give it up to your higher power. Whether that
Give it up for a higher power.
Sorry. Whether that's God, universe, whatever. You are not in control and you have to trust the journey of your life and give it up to your higher power to take care of it. Once you've released that you can't control, once you have released that you can't control this. Do you mean realized?
No, once you have
released
that you can't.
Okay.
I like realized better actually.
Released.
Okay. Once you have released that you can't control this and someone else has the control, you can focus on yourself and know that your higher power is taking care of you. This is the reason why Mormons are so fucking happy and rich. Oh my God. They're masters of trusting God and essentially manifesting their lives. I don't know if I agree with that.
Well, they are. Mormons are the master manifestors. Look at them. They're all rich.
A lot of them are rich. I don't know.
A lot of them are rich.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's Jade's breakup guide.
I think that's like, I mean, do you guys have anything to add to it? Because I feel like I covered a lot.
I think you did great.
I mean, therapy is probably the one thing I would like add.
You had that in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
so
do you want to hear from the people?
Yeah, I was gonna say, should we hear from our peeps?
Let's hear from the peeps. I forgot we still have peeps. That's awesome.
Paige, I wonder if you're gonna be able to imagine this. Just give me a second. Picture this: you're an awkward 8th grader.
There.
That's all I was saying. Picture this: you're an awkward 8th grader with your first boyfriend. You're an God damn it.
Okay, Jade.
You're an awkward gal and you don't really know how this dating thing works. So you're going to the movies and you're holding hands and you go into the city with him and his mom for a fun day trip, because 8th graders can't drive. And it's on the way home from that cute little day trip that you just look into his eyes and lovingly say, do you ever just look at me and stop liking me? And he gives you this look of complete and utter confusion, and realizing he's not answering, you feel the silence by saying, I get that way with you sometimes. And that is how I broke up with my first boyfriend. Please give me all
In
the
the
loving.
car?
Yeah. Do you ever just look at me and realize you don't like me anymore?
Wait, this just brought back a memory.
Uh-oh.
Oh my God. I went to,
Oh no.
so we grew up outside of LA, and we did a day trip to Newport with me and like my boyfriend at the time and our friends that catfished us. And we were at the beach. All of us were hanging out, and our friend who's a boy came up to me and he was like, hey, your boyfriend wants me to break up with you. And I was like, wait, what? We're 45 minutes from home. And he's like, yeah, sorry. So then the rest of the day, like we had an hour left at the beach. And then I was just sitting there like crying behind my little like Arnettes, which are like these sunglasses that were so cool back in the day. And it was just like little tears were coming down my cheeks. And I was like, what the fuck? Then I had to get in the car and drive 45 more minutes back to Glendora.
Well, now I'm going to cry for you.
And then I was like, and then I had to get out of the car when they dropped me off at my house, and I just say bye to everybody. And bye to my boyfriend who broke up with me.
Even break up with you. He had his friend bring him.
And I was like in the back. I was in the way back.
Over
I was climbing over the seats. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Tears in your eyes.
I'm never going to see you again except for every day at school.
Oh my God. Hi, girls.
Hi.
Hi.
First, I just started listening to your podcast and I fell in love with it.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm from a small border town in Texas, close to Acuña, Coahuila. I probably know that. I have one older sister, but she's 10 years older than me, and we're not close at all.
Left Girl's funny today.
So growing up, I always wished I could have the sister bond that I see between y'all.
Aw.
I love it. Second,
We're happy you're here.
I want to tell y'all about a breakup that I experienced. I was 21 and I was seeing this guy for a few months now. We never made it official, but we would see each other every day, and I would stay over at his apartment every weekend. It felt like we were together. In the beginning, we talked about our situation, and we established that we would keep it casual between us. But obviously, my dumbass caught feelings.
It happens.
He kept saying that he didn't know what he would... Sorry. I do double spaces. He kept saying that he didn't know what he wanted, but that he didn't want to stop talking to me.
Of course.
I believed him. I kept being hopeful that one day he would open his eyes and make it official.
Open the eyes, my heart.
I want to see you.
Oh, God. So while I had it in my head that I had to be faithful to him, he was definitely not.
Ain't that the story?
I kept hearing about the girls he would be with at bars or at dinners that he would have out with other girls. I would ask him, but he always denied everything. One night, I gave him an ultimatum, classic. I told him either he wanted to be with me or I would stop talking to him. He told me he didn't want a relationship with me, so I walked away from him that night. It was truly one of the worst breakups that I went through, just because we were never officially together, but we acted as if we were a couple. I never talked to him again, but I found out by a friend that a week later, that fucker had a new girlfriend.
Of course he did.
5 years later, I still have a lot of unanswered questions and a lot of what ifs.
Oh,
Honestly, though, I don't want you to have any what ifs or any questions, because
Yeah, we
this
can answer those
person-
for you right now.
this person did not give you the respect that you clearly deserved, and you can find so much better.
Oh yeah,
I
and
agree,
you will.
and I
Once
can
you
relate.
once you move on and move, like, put this person in the past. Like,
You stop giving them so much energy.
Once I stopped giving my ex so much energy, then my dating life got so much better.
Yeah, and you start attracting like better quality people.
Totally. Because I was just distracting people that were just that. Did I say that? I was
saying you wanted to be distracted.
I was attracting people that were distractions instead of people that I actually wanted to be with.
Right.
And now I'm doing the opposite.
There were quite a few people that wrote in about like situationships.
Yeah.
Which
are the hardest.
I can relate to.
That's what my like last relationship was, a situationship for like the majority of it. And it was so hard because it was so intense, and we like had these like discussions, and it was like, wait, this feels like a relationship, but like I'm also not his girlfriend.
Yeah, but I feel like situationships are so much more common like now. Mm-hmm. And like that doesn't, because a lot of typically men like want to keep the lines blurry for that specific reason. Or I am guilty of wanting to keep lines blurry as of late, you know. But anyways,
I usually am I love a line blur.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this one was going to be an alternate story, but you said something earlier. I thought this was going to relate to Paige more, but I think it relates to you pretty well. After high school, I went to college, good for you, and immediately moved into an apartment with my boyfriend of 3 years. College was 5 hours from our hometown. Throughout the fall semester, I could tell something was weird, but I didn't think much of it until he suggested that I start going to therapy for my anger issues. Which I thought was weird because I honestly didn't have anger issues. He honestly could have told me, like, I think you should go to therapy because therapy is healthy, and I could have accepted that, but no, he blamed it on some fake issues. Anyway, it's Christmas break, and we got everything loaded up into his car and head home. Since it was a long drive...
Sorry. We're listening.
Since it was a long drive... Since it was a very long drive, he wanted to just take one vehicle and save fuel, and I was fine with that. We were going to be spending the entire break together anyway. On the drive, he proceeded to not talk to me the entire trip. We just sat in silence until we pulled into our hometown, where he proceeded to break up with me.
How are you going to get back home?
So I'm 5 hours away from my apartment with all of my belongings and my car. Then he tells me I need to transfer to a school closer to home and that I'm not allowed to go to the school we were attending. And for some fucking reason, I listened to him. I transfer schools and moved to college 30 minutes from home. And guess what? He transfers to that same school the following semester.
What?
Yeah. And so now she has a separate paragraph for some clarity, and I need more clarity. So it says, some clarity. He knew he was going to break up with me at Christmas since September. Whoa. And that's why he put me in therapy. Oh, his excuse for not breaking up with me before we left for break was because he didn't want me to have to drive for 5 hours sad. But then I had to drive for 10 hours really pissed off. That was 7 years ago, and I still get mad thinking about it. I need to know how they got back to school to get the rest of her stuff. Like, did he have to drive her back 5 hours?
Or like maybe like one of her parents or friends or siblings or something like drove her back. I don't know.
How is he that good of a manipulator to get her to transfer to another school?
Well, my high school boyfriend, whenever we were picking colleges, he was like, well, we can't go to the same college. And I was like, oh, why not? Like,
I thought this would be great.
Why? And he was like, well, because like it can't look like we're following each other. And I was like, oh yeah, for sure. So that was like one of the, I only liked 2 schools that I went to visit, and I was like, okay, cool. Like, you're going to that one, I'll go to that one.
And then
ended up at the other one.
But then I ended up going to the other one because I learned what out-of-state tuition was.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, never mind, we can go to the same school.
Do you remember the time that you had to drive me back to Austin because I had driven up with my boyfriend? Then things went great, and then I had to ride back with you and your boyfriend at the time in the back seat. That was sad.
And, you know, that just, again, reminds me of Chewy's. You know, it's like how to drive Back to y'all.
And this episode is brought to you by Chewy's.
I wish. Man, we should have been eating Chewy's this whole time.
That'd be good. Yeah, that was why I chose that one, because it's like, why did Peter make you drive all the way to San Marcos an hour away?
When you were going to break up with me. The other thing about the breakup is just like, when I say I was blindsided, like, I cannot express how blindsided I was.
You're like, you know what? I'm so happy that I'm going to meet you halfway with your laptop. I wouldn't want to burden you with the whole drive. Let me meet you.
Well, it's like we broke up for religious differences. We were on different faith paths. And that's what he said. And he had gone to church that day, and he went to a church that was like pretty strict in their like Christianity. And he hadn't been to church in-person church in a really long time, because with COVID, everything wasn't in person. And then after COVID, he was on a discovery, like a journey himself. And so he didn't really know how he felt about things, like whatever. So he wasn't going. So then he finally goes, and he's telling me about this conversation he's having like with the pastor, which I should have been alarmed, like, oh, this probably isn't going to end well for me. But I'm like, oh my gosh, how did that make you feel? Like, do you like when he says things like that? Like, do you think that, does that feel good for you? And he's like, yeah, I don't know, blah, 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 like whatever. And then he says something else, and I'm like, wow, I can't believe that happened to you. I'm so sorry that happened to you today. Like, at least we're here having lunch, you know? Yeah. And then he's like, and so for those reasons,
and for those reasons, I'm out. He's Shark Tank
for those reasons, you gotta go after you finish your meal, of course. And I was like, suddenly I'm not hungry anymore.
Suddenly my appetite is lost. You know what I think that your ex would really benefit from?
What?
Zate. I think your ex could. He could create Zates for going to church with people.
Actually, that would be a really good thing for him to be like, this is the number one thing important to me.
Yeah, because I don't know if you can actually make church a Zate on Zate, but Zate is an Austin-based dating app where you can make
literally
experiences.
Like match with people who have similar interests than you.
Yeah,
as you. So
like you could be like, hey, I'm going to church.
I'm going to church camp. Who wants to come with me?
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. Peter, check out Zate.
Peter, we know you're watching this because this is gonna go on our Instagram. And you should download Zate and give this girl a download under her name,
please. Thank you. Yeah. Thanks, Pete.
Thanks, Peter.
Okay, this person knows you personally. Whoa. I didn't write her name down because.
Do you know who it is?
I think I know because I saw it on the email.
Do I know who it is?
No.
Okay.
I don't recognize the name.
Okay.
My ex and I dated for 3 years and moved into 2 different houses during our relationship. 3 years, 2 houses. That's a lot. That's all right. And periodically I'd have random women reach out or approach me at work and tell me they were sleeping with my then boyfriend.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I was 20. Yeah, it's wild. I was 24 at the time. He was 35, and I was super naive and believed my ex when he said those women were crazy.
We always do.
I went through his computer toward the end of our relationship and found a Yahoo email account he had used to post ads on Craigslist searching for couples. This part I was going to cut out, but I'm going to say it. He used to post ads on Craigslist searching for couples that would let him fuck a girlfriend/wife in the ass so that the boyfriend/husband could watch. I knew he was a freak, but that was a lot. All throughout our relationship. What do you guys think?
I'm just thinking that is like a thing though. Like it's called cuckolding.
Yeah.
But like the cuckold would be like the husband. But like guys really get off on that.
Yeah. And I think, you know what? Honestly, this part, up to this point, this is fine because he's like, this is what everyone's getting into. Whatever.
No.
Wait. No. I didn't read you the parenthetical that says Craigslist ads were posted before we dated.
Okay. So, because I was going to say like,
she doesn't know what she's getting
psychotic behavior. It's like you are living this like secret life.
Well, we'll get to that.
Okay.
We'll get to the psychotic behavior.
Thank you.
All throughout our relationship, I had proof he'd been sleeping with hookers from Phoenix Backpage, as well as hookers while we were living in Barcelona together.
Barcelona?
Barcelona together. Juntos. While I was asleep in our house in Barcelona, he'd go see Spanish hookers. Parentheses. I saw all the texts of him bartering the price. His dumbass had his iMessage connected to his iPad.
Classic.
The classic.
iPad. And also chic that he's getting Barcelona hookers.
No, but you're bartering the price. Like, give them all of your money.
Yeah, like, I think this guy's a little bit of a dirtbag, and I think we'll get to it. Also, I don't think we're supposed to say the word hooker, so I didn't replace it with sex workers. I did on my title, but, you know, just a note.
I'm going to say hooker.
Hooker.
Trashy hooker.
We'll get to it. I have every ATM transaction that proved he was pulling out money to see girls. I was young and in love and literally worshipped the ground this guy walked on.
Been there.
He had a relationship with everyone in my family, so you could imagine how devastating all of this shit was for me.
I thought you were about to go down that he had like a sexual relationship. I was like, oh my God, now he's in with her family. Like, I was about to lose my GD mind. Wow, okay, just a friendly relationship.
Okay.
The last 2 months of our relationship, I secretly packed my car with all my stuff from our house, and one day I told him I was leaving and not coming back. I drove to Montana with all of my shit, and he called me the entire way there, saying he'd change, he'd see a therapist, that he loved me, wanted to get married and have babies, etc. I was so blinded by love that I believed him. But I also had the password to his Instagram account.
Nice. Yes. Yeah.
The entire car ride to Montana, while calling me and telling me he loved me, and he was going to fly out 2 weeks later to come bring me back home to Scottsdale, he was messaging an Instagram model that I knew. I saw their messages back and forth in real time and saw how shady this fucker was. In real time.
In IRL.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, IRT.
That's in real life. Oops. IRT. He booked 2 tickets to Cabo for them, and they flew out a few days after I broke up with him, all while telling me he's going to go to great lengths to change.
Fucking
no one believes you, dude.
Days into my breakup and him pleading that he'll change, my girlfriend and I messaged a hooker we knew he'd been sleeping with, because I'm a glutton for punishment, and she sent me texts between she and him. Apparently, he was harassing her to see him for 2 years of our relationship, and in a text... Sorry. And in a text, he said to her, quote, I shaved my balls for you.
That's nice of him.
I just like that that's the part that she picked
he's
out.
Shaving his balls for everybody. Not just for that woman.
He had paid her in checks, so I obviously logged into that bank account and pulled up every check that he had written in the last 3 years and wrote down every girl's name.
That's my kind of girl.
No, I was like
what I did when I like wrote down all of the girls' names in.
She has an Excel sheet.
You gotta get all the information first. This specific hooker had been inside my house several times while I wasn't there. And I knew this because she described the inside of my house to a T to me.
T to me.
He owns restaurants in Scottsdale. And you bet your ass I reached out to every employee I knew and told them that he was, this is what it is. And you bet your ass I reached out to every employee I knew and told them that he was fucking prostitution. What? Prostitution. What?
Engaged 19 times.
I also sent them screenshots of the text between he and the ball shaved hooker. And included photos of her to show just how scummy he was.
The balls.
I love this.
See attached photos below. And she attached them. I did not print them, but I did view them.
Oh, the balls?
I want to know. It's the women. The woman.
Prostitution. Whore. You know.
I want to look.
I can't wait to see.
He eloped with the Cabo Instagram model 2 months later. All while still telling me he loved me / reaching out daily. And they divorced less than a year later.
Oh my God.
Instagram model girl and I knew each other, and she advertised their relationship on Instagram days after I broke up with him, posting stories of their clothes on the garage floor with captions like, couldn't make it to the bedroom.
Oh. My God.
Make a note of that. I have something to say.
Okay.
She saw her meal ticket and took it. He now lives with and has a baby with a girl from another country, and he messages me weekly to get back together or fly me to meet him in various places. All in all, I learned several valuable lessons. One being to trust your gut. If you have a feeling about something, it's probably right.
Yeah.
Always listen to your mom.
Yes.
Always.
I learned that men never change and men are straight up idiots.
Fuck yeah.
Whoa. I got a pair of supple, expensive boobies out of the relationship and dated an NHL player with a monster dong a little bit after.
Hell yeah.
So I'm doing okay. Hashtag blessed.
Oh my God.
I'll read it. Below is the hooker. Sorry. Below is the hooker my girlfriend and I reached out to after my breakup that my boyfriend had been sleeping with for 2 years out of our relationship. Her nipples were puffy and pierced, and with a light Google search, we saw photos of her Arby's roast beef sandwich on Phoenix Bag page.
That is. You did not say that.
Before I had this pulled up, I opened it on the Gmail when I was
Did you think
at.
it was gonna be her Arby's roast beef?
No, they did not send me a picture of her
Bailey
roast
said,
beef
I
sandwich.
like turkey better.
Sick ass. But I had this pulled up, and then I was trying to do something else on my computer when I was in New York, and I was reading this, and I read part of it out loud to my boyfriend, and it took me 2 times reading it through to know what she meant by Arby's roast beef sandwich, and I was like, no.
Wait, why did it take you 2 times?
Bailey's like, can I have a...
Bailey's like, why would anyone get Arby's?
I'd rather get a foot long from Subway.
Yeah, she would.
Oh
my
Is
God,
that
that
it?
killed me.
Yeah, that's the end.
Okay.
Wait, but I was gonna say about how he was that? He married someone a second ago.
Yeah, and had a baby, and then keeps... Oh, you wanted to note the clothes on the floor.
The clothes on the
Couldn't
floor.
make
Do
it.
you remember my situationship
Yes.
ending?
Yes.
And a week later on Instagram stories,
Yes.
there was a gal literally
You know what's so
humping his
interesting?
face.
The thing that's interesting about that girl is she was a girl of many faces.
The singer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She never looked the same.
I don't even know what her face looked like.
Every day,
I don't. It was like a Monet. You could be looking at her and you're
And
like,
it's changing while you're looking at her.
yeah. And she
Before your own eyes.
Yeah, and she had no problem singing in the middle of a restaurant.
She loved it.
And he liked that. He loved it too.
We were together for an entire year, probably. I don't know.
You were.
I mean, I was with him for a year. I don't know what he was doing. Week later after that, he was like, oh no, I like this person better. Look at her.
Okay,
She'll stand on top of a table and sing in front of an entire restaurant.
Well,
Look at
that's
her go.
the ex that I lived with, whenever I moved out and he started dating somebody the next week, I was like, okay, this makes sense why we broke up so abruptly, and you must have already been in communication with this person. He's like, he literally thought that I would believe that I happened to run into her in San Antonio. Bitch, no one believes that story. Nobody.
No
it's
one.
the same girl that when I was looking through the iPad, I saw text messages where he said,
You saw her cervix?
no, not hers. She was, I'll be honest, she was a classy lady. And he said, oh, do you still have a boyfriend? And she said, yes. And he was like, well, you're the one that got away. I want to be with you. And she said, we cannot be having this conversation because not only do I have a boyfriend that I like, you have a girlfriend. And he said, like, let me know whenever you guys break up. That's like the last
And then
thing.
did she?
I assume so, because you know, that's probably what happened. As soon as she sent that text, he was like running after her.
Damn.
I like that last story. Even though it was long, it was good.
It was like a journey.
Good.
There was a lot to it.
And I'm glad she got boobs out of it.
Yeah.
And
In that, what was it? Monster Hog?
yeah, the monster hog on the NHL player. That's nice. That's a good like rebound dick.
Yeah.
We love a rebound dick.
Send us in your rebound stories because I love.
Oh, should we do rebound?
I
could do
had a whole rebound journey.
I went through a whole group of friends that rebounded.
Yeah, you did.
Wow. Okay, that's what we'll talk about.
I
next
mean,
time
that
is
sounds like
rebounds.
that makes me sound like I'm such a hooker, a prostitution whore, but not that there's anything wrong with that.
But really, you can follow us on Instagram at Your Poor Dad Pod, and TikTok Your Poor Dad Pod, and you can always write into us at yourpoordad@gmail.com.
Give us your best rebound stories for next week.
Yeah, write in your rebound stories while you're here, which, again, thank you for making it this far. And please go ahead, whatever you're listening on, please leave us a 5-star review.
Yes.
Because we really appreciate that. And
Yeah.
tell all your friends to listen to Your Poor Dad and have them join us as the 4th branch
The
sister.
best thing you can do for us is just spread the word of Your Poor Dad. Like all we need, it's like word of mouth. If somebody's like, hey, what podcast are you listening to? Your Poor Dad.
Yeah.
You know,
you
just
have to let
today-
them know what that mouth do. Word of mouth.
Sometimes it doesn't do much.
All right, well.
All right.
All right, next time, rebound stories, baby. Love you, bye.